With help from Father Christmas, I exposed my SIL for hating my family. My twin brother, 25, has been with his wife since we were 15, and they've been married for the last year. Since day one, my SIL hasn't been a fan of my family. She and my brother met doing the same after-school club, a club that my best friend happened to also be in. She always used to say that my SIL always complained about my family, my mother, father, and myself, and how we all treated her terribly, though when asked, she would never go into detail, because there was no detail. In fact, for the first few years of their relationship, my SIL was the daughter my mother wished she'd had, which strained our relationship unsurprisingly, but not the time for that. She was happy enough to be around us, and my parents always made sure to include her on family occasions such as our birthdays. Since we're all 15 and moody teenagers, if ever it comes up in conversation, my brother sulking about something and throwing out a line about how he understands why his girlfriend never wants to be around, or me and my mother arguing and me saying something about how the girlfriend hates her, it's not taken as gospel. The years go by and my brother and SIL stay together through universities 150 miles apart and move in together at about the 6-year mark of their relationship. I lived at home for a year after my brother moved out, and during that time witnessed numerous occasions of my brother being around for a dinner that both him and his girlfriend have been invited to, with just him attending for a variety of cheap excuses that have been cut short because SIL rings my brother up telling him he has to come home because of X, Y, and Z. While some of these may have been genuine, every time he was around for over half an hour, he got the calls and messages saying that her world was imploding if he didn't come home right this instant. I think my parents politely excused the behavior as young love, but it was an obvious shun. My mother especially was cut off. Every month she'd invite SIL out for a girls' day, either with or without me or other family members, and was always told no. After the wedding, which none of our side of the family were allowed to be involved in, not an issue, though it was hurtful that we were told that nothing family was happening, dances, speeches, but they in fact were with only SIL's side of the family while we just sat there awkwardly. I got a few messages from mutual friends of myself and my brother, asking what the drama was between us and SIL, who had evidently been telling people all night that we had been awful throughout the wedding process, and her new husband were on the verge of going no contact with us, something we hadn't heard at all from my brother or her, since we were very much still in contact with them, well, him. A couple had thought it odd that she was saying this, and forwarded screenshots of SIL, telling them full stories of complete lies about things that had happened between her and us. My favorite was the supposed time when my father, the most placid man in Britain, stormed around to their house demanding that they give him hundreds in cash to cover his gambling debts, while my mother threw salt around their garden trying to kill the grass. No reason for this given. My father has never gambled anything more than a couple of pounds on the lottery. They don't have grass around their house to begin with, and most of all, my parents were both out of the country at the time, with SIL sent the OMG, you will not believe what brother's family just did message to at least 2 of my friends. I'm not a petty person, and so didn't go in all guns blazing, but the next time I saw my parents, I said that it seemed like SIL was spreading potentially harmful lies. They both said they knew that SIL didn't seem to like them, but had decided many years ago to try and kill her with kindness, if only to not give her any real ammunition against them. I decided to sit on what I had evidence-wise, unless SIL did something major. The major came over Christmas. For years and years, my brother and CL had rotated between her family and my family. This year was supposed to be the day with my family. They live in the same town as both their families, so it wouldn't be a massive journey for anyone to go anywhere. I live with my partner about half an hour from my family, and we were also going to be spending the lunch with my family. Partner's family are from a country who do their main Christmas stuff on Christmas Eve, so we were seeing both sets of family over the period. We get there bright and early on Christmas Day to find my brother there alone. I ask where SIL is, and I'm told that she's having a family emergency, but will be over before the meal. No issues there, family emergency or not. We all get to prepping the meal, and my brother's phone is ringing the whole time. He stops answering after a period of time, and a particularly long call prior that he went outside for, but confirms that it's SIL. However, it's just her phone messing up, and consistently calling the last number in the call list. A bit of a crap excuse, but whatever. The ringing eventually stops. By this point, my brother's off playing with one of my dad's old cars, and everything's in the oven, so we chill out for a while and look on social media at all the cheesy Christmas present posts. Myself and my partner are just scrolling away comparing friends' presents, when my partner's screen comes up with a post by SIL into a Facebook group called something like Murderous Mother-in-Law's Support Group. We assumed that we were blocked from seeing SIL's posts, but she'd let my partner slip through the net that had only been posted 5 minutes before. The post said something like, "DH is forcing me to go to his horrid family's Christmas dinner. They make me do all of the cooking on my own, but tell me it's horrible. His sister even assaulted me last time I went to their house, and she's just been kicked out of rehab, so is back there again. I'm scared every day that DH is going to believe their lies about me and leave me. I'd rather kill myself than do this. Can I get some support, ladies?" Utter shit. We all cook, with my father doing the lion's share if anyone could even be considered as doing more than average. I've never been addicted to any substance, and like my parents had said before, they never said a crossword about SIL to anyone, so she couldn't claim they did. This was it for me. I excused myself and went up to the office to print off copies of the messages she'd sent to friends previously, and the post in the group that my partner screenshot at my request. I printed off enough copies for everyone at the table, 10 were there in total, and wrapped them all up in groups. I then stuck some labels onto them as being from Father Christmas. I slipped downstairs and put them under the tree, claiming they were some more gifts I'd found. Just to say that everyone there was an adult, so there wouldn't be a child thinking that Father Christmas was just an arse. The day continues. SIL arrives and apologizes for the delay. Everyone says it's not a problem, and the food gets cooked, served, and eaten. We've always opened presents after lunch, so everyone gets set up with each other's presents, as well as the mystery Father Christmas present that everyone seemed to get. Someone eventually opens a Father Christmas present and starts to read, before asking CL what she means by us being a horrid family. My parents, brother and SIL, all quickly open theirs and read them through. SIL goes as white as a sheet and starts asking about who did this, but my brother tells her that she brought this on herself and has gone too far. My parents say nothing to anyone, and eventually SEL excuses herself. My brother says that since they started dating, she's decided that our family hate her and has spent years trying to prove it, ranging from the order their names are written in cards to the number of potatoes she's served at a meal. She obviously has had no evidence since there is none. My brother had no clue about the messages or Facebook groups, but expected there to be many more. He decided to leave, apologized, and got into contact about half an hour later, saying that they were both at home and stable, since the kill myself part had worried my mother especially. I kept quiet about my role in this until everyone else had left. My mother suspected it was me, but said she was happy this would actually be out in the open. I apologized profusely for ruining the day before we left. None of this was my finest moment, which I'm sure some of you reading will agree with. My brother has been in contact with my parents and me to further apologize for everything SIL has said and done, and said that he wasn't making any rash decisions yet, but they needed to sit and talk about everything. I'm sure some people will think that this is symptomatic of a bigger issue of control concerning my brother and his life, and might be justifying SIL's views on us. But I did this more out of anger at the situation more than at the person herself, and this is the first and only instance of any of my family being negative to her. I hope this has made her think about her choices, and that she can work on the reason why she had lied to herself and others for so many years.